All right. Hello. Welcome to a new episode of Mental Rest Day, a series by the esteemed, the profound, the well accredited me, yours truly. I am exhausted. Today has been such a week. It's the last day of the fiscal month for my job. That is exhausting. However, we did achieve our goal for the month, which is good. But I go to the gym after, and then I get home, and I think the biggest reason for my stress is just my at-home time has not been super, restful, because I have this new kitten, who does require a lot of watching, I guess because of my other pets, namely my dog, Kyoshi. Kyoshi's super nice and wouldn't, intentionally hurt the kitten, but Kyoshi's a big dog, and Little Bro, which is just his current, placeholder name, he's small and fragile, and I don't want him to accidentally get hurt. He's also kind of annoying. He, gets on my desk, and he, instead of, walking around everything like my other cats, he, walks on stuff, namely, my keyboard. So, when I'm trying to play games or do whatever, he's just, stepping on whatever keys, minimizing things, putting things in full screen, just, typing, man, how do you teach a cat not to walk on specific things? So it's just, he's little. I don't really blame him. I just, pick him up and I move him, but... So it has been a week, and I am glad that it is pretty much over. That doesn't necessarily mean I'll get any rest. However, the work week is over for you cuties, so hopefully you guys get some rest. I didn't really have to think about too much for a topic today because it is our mental rest day, so I'm allowed to just yap about whatever. And that is exactly what we are going to do. So enough about me and my woes and my sorrow. Because, ultimately, yeah, I am a bit tired. A little bit eepy, as they say. But life's good, right? I'm not complaining about anything that's going on. I'm blessed to have a job, have cool pets, and I'm in mostly good health. So, we're wrapping up another week. So with that being said, we're going to pack up this camera. We're going to bring it, I think, by your shoulders and chest today. So we're going to bring it to a shoulder press. I don't really feel like doing dumbbells today. I think I'm just going to do a machine. And hopefully feel a little stronger than last time. So I'll see you in there. So first, like I said, we're just going to do a machine shoulder press. And then we'll get to yapping. We'll put a heckin' yawn count in the top. See how many of those I squeeze out before the end of this workout. This is a new weight, obligatory. New weight, everyone. I've been listening to an ungodly amount of country music lately also. It's, I'm changing. I got a mullet. I don't know if y'all noticed in the intro. Some of my hair is gone. I have a mustache. I'm about to get some overalls and start smoking Joes. Stuff. Man, do I dare talk about the election and the absolute tomfoolery that was witnessed last night for me in the first presidential debate? You mean to tell me that out of the 200 million adult Americans, we've got a convicted criminal and a man with dementia? This is the best we can do? I've got a whole litany of issues with American politics. Fortunately for me, we have a 3-branch system. Fortunately also for me, in some ways the president's not nearly as important as a lot of people perhaps think. If you want real change, your local legislature, your national legislature, when it comes to your senators, your House of Representatives, that's probably what affects your life more than anything. It's also, for whatever reason, the offices people vote on the least. I think there's a whole cultural problem with American politics. The fact that 80-year-old men are the head of our country. I guess I'm just not a fan of the idea that we have these people, as old as they are, making decisions for the youth of the world, and they never have to live to see the ramifications of anything. It's like they're just playing with house money. They're playing with our lives. And if I could pass a law, there would be like a statute of limitations as far as like how old you could be. Like you had to be minimum, say, 30 years old, but you couldn't be older than like 60, maybe 65. Because I want people to have skin in the game. And this is like for a lot of public offices. I also feel like the older you are, the more detached you get from the actual troubles of the world. You don't understand what it's like to be a youth of today. And that really does bother me. There's a reason retirement age in the world is like 65, yet everybody of note holding political office is around that age or over it, and they never leave it. Being a politician is more or less not even about what you do. It's almost about how well you're just able to manipulate your audience. Because I'm sure there are dozens in the United States of people who have just been elected term after term and never do anything positive. They're just really good at getting reelected, I imagine. I don't like that. Anyway, let's get a set. And people will say, there is a third option. But is there, like realistically? We can't. Let me get a set. I said the thing that's tough. Currently listening to Rage Against the Machine, Wake Up, for anybody wondering. Sometimes I think about like dubbing like little clips of the songs I'm listening to for each set. Just like a clip. But man, I know how fast things get copyright struck. So I hate that. Just like the monetization of everything. Like I'd love to do this cool little thing for my video. And it's like, oh, you used 5 seconds of my song. Now I own the whole thing. So crazy. These multimillionaires have to have every possible revenue stream. I don't think music should just be free use, of course, but it's almost interesting that if I were to play 15 seconds of a Drake song, for instance, the idea that in my video I'm profiting solely, I'm only going to be profitable. I'm only going to get any relevant interaction because I use the Drake song. I think that's a very backwards and unrealistic mind space. Nobody clicked on this video because I used 15 seconds of a Drake song. Nobody's clicking on this video because I used 15 seconds of a Shania Twain song. But what do I know? I'm just a kid compared to all the people making these rules and laws, and I don't have a private jet to fly me to my vacation home, so what do I know? I will say I'm not stressed about the election. I'm not stressed about our candidates. I think it's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out, because there's a potential that Joe Biden might not even be the candidate after last night. There's rumors of him being, I guess, deposed as the person running. I don't know how that works. I'm not familiar with a president who wanted to run, and then the party not allowing him to and replacing him. Is is there a precedent for that? A precedent for that to have happened before? It's also a lot of entertainment value. Luckily, both of these goofballs are kind of funny. And again, when I don't put a lot of weight on the presidency, and I'm not terribly concerned with what they're doing or how they're doing it. So, you know, I'm just here for the ha-has, which there were a lot of, but there was also people just absolutely losing it on like the internet this morning, on Twitter, on Reddit, in all of these different places. Just like I am, like this sentiment of I am actually going to end myself if XYZ candidate wins, blah blah blah. And it's like, bro, it's not that serious. Whoever is elected is only elected for 4 years, and realistically, anything they do can be reversed. Will it be unfortunate for you for XYZ reason because XYZ thing is happening? For sure. But it's not the end of the world, and if we just have a serious talk about it, it's not worth your well-being, ultimately. I think people who get super worked up are maybe a little bit too chronically online, too caught up in all the culture wars and the who can be the wokest person you know race and all that kind of stuff. I just wish everybody could acknowledge that these things are important to keep track of, while also maintaining and understanding that their personal happiness is going to be far and away the most impactful thing that they can worry about in their life. Let's get a final sip. Cool stuff. We're gonna unload here. We're gonna run to a chest. This might be a shorter workout. Like I said, I'm kind of tired. And shorter as in, I'm gonna do the same amount of exercise as I usually do. But I just might not yap as much. And I know I've said that a couple times, and then I go home and I edit the video and it's just as long as all the others. But I feel the need to say it, just in case. Alright. I just saw a funny on the internet. So next we're just gonna do the machine chest press. It's like I said, I don't want to lift no steel today. Let's just do some machines. Let's have a chill day. Let's talk about chill stuff. Chill guy with a chill audience, doing chill things. Very chill. Let's get a set. I want to know something strange, and I'll never admit I said this, but you know Sabrina Carpenter's new song, Please, Please, Please? There's like a point in it, 2 points. It's like in the chorus when she says, heartbreak is one thing, my ego's another. I beg you don't embarrass me, motherfucker. Like she gets like kind of deep, like on the song. There's something about the way that she says that word. It's attractive. Who knew a girl accentuating her deep voice, just like in a silly, funny kind of way, like that? Had a sexual awakening when I heard it. I was like, oh, whew, what the hell, Sabrina? And I don't typically listen to a lot of pop music, but it's been like trending around the internet, right? People are like doing like reels and TikToks and memes about it, so I've been seeing it a lot, and I just thought I would share that for no particular reason. You know what else is kind of strange? What is up with famous people, famous men perhaps, and diddling children or flirting with minors or just being like outright creeps. And I'm talking about, since I'm in like the gaming culture, the gaming community, the gaming sphere. There's a guy, pretty big guy. You guys might have even seen clips of him, called Dr. Disrespect. He wears the big glasses and the mustache and the wig. And it recently blew up about the reason he got banned from Twitch a while back, and now he's kind of exiting the internet, that he was flirting with an underage girl on the internet and was intending to meet her. This man is a multi-millionaire. He has a wife and kids. He has things that most of us just wish we could have. And he's like, BRB, while I throw my whole life away and traumatize a child and just be a creep. So strange. Let's get a sec. I want to add more weight, and I think I will. I guess since we already kind of touched on politics today, this is supposed to be a mental rest day, but it's just like so many things have come to my attention today that it's, I guess it's just what's on my mind. That in which is perhaps the criminalization of homeless people sleeping outside of establishments and businesses. And the way that it's just like kicking someone who's already down just doesn't sit right with me. I had a pretty extensive debate with one of my employees, like in a friendly manner. I maybe shouldn't have been talking about it, but at the same time, I don't typically hire people who I don't feel like I can have like a normal life conversation with. Like if this might be my shortcoming, but I feel like if they are going to report me to HR for just having a logical discussion, perhaps changing viewpoints and just being willing to listen to each other, is really not someone I want to employ. Because if I'm going to be at a place for 40 hours a week, then I want to be able to be myself some portion of that time. And basically talked about the fact that I personally think it's wrong. Like, yes, a business has the right to run its business and maintain whatever appeal, but I think it's really just the ramification of what decisions like this do to this portion of people. My employee made the I kind of ran the math with them. I'm like, how easy it potentially could be in today's society to become homeless, with most of our population living check to check, one major emergency away from potential homelessness, that it is probably easier than he thinks. And this is a problem that also disproportionately affects men, homelessness. Because men, of course, are, I've talked about it in a previous vlog, less likely to get help from external sources, be it friends or family. And I kind of ran the math with him, and he's like, oh, well, that's a rare situation. I was like, do you know how many people are homeless in America? Right about 500,000, give or take. You know how many people live in America? Do you know what percentage 500,000 is of the total population of America? It's like less than 1% of people. It is a rare situation. That's the point. It is rare to be homeless. And I think instead of investing money, instead of investing policies into not letting homeless people sleep on subway benches or in front of businesses or on ventilation grates in New York, or like whatever we're doing, I wish we could just invest this money into actual rehabilitation, into actual housing, into actual like plans to help people bounce back and recover and get out of the situation that they're in. Maybe it's because I think about myself and how easily, if my life did implode, how like I could have a genuine reality of homelessness, so I empathize with these people. But it's also a safety thing for them, right? Like, there's a reason a lot of people don't like the shelters they have, because of the close proximity they are in with everybody else, and there's drug addicts and there's criminals and all kinds of stuff, and there just needs to be safer spaces, and there, I feel like, needs to be more of a outreach to help these people. And these ones that are, sleeping in front of businesses, well, that's sleeping in front of a business is a very safe place, right? There's cameras, there's lights, there's foot traffic. You're asking them to go sleep where? Under a bridge somewhere? In the forest? I can't help but just think about the dangers that present. And it's almost like we're sweeping away the problem, because if we don't see it, we don't have to deal with it. And I think that's the wrong way to approach other human beings. I get it, they might have made mistakes. Some of them might have made major mistakes in their life. But I think it is our duty as humans to lend a hand to those when they're down. Not continuously kick them, not continuously push them out of society, which is what it feels like we're doing. Out of sight, out of mind. There's also an argument made that, these people aren't good people. And I was like, by what metric are we judging them? Because they're not successful, they're not good people? And I kind of put forth, like, okay, well, would you say all Christians are good people? Would you say all atheists are good people? Would you say they're all bad people? And then I kind of went through, like, Republicans, Democrats, Christians, non-Christians, and then the world, like, generally, do you think most people are good or most people are bad? And they said, well, most people are probably good. Then why wouldn't that extend to people in poverty, people who are homeless? Can there not be good people there too? They're good, like, for God's sakes, there's good people in prison where people who commit crimes go. And don't get me started on the institution that is prison. Privately owned institutions that profit off of people never getting out of the system. Prison should be about rehabilitation, and there's a severe lack of rehabilitation going on in prison. And we're seeing that with homeless people too. It's so hard to get out of the hole once you're in the hole, and it feels like next to no help. What's gonna say? It's kind of a serious chat today. My bad, guys. I guess I just have a lot of opinions on a lot of things. My employee was very much taken aback because he's like, man, you're not very empathetic and you're not very caring at all. Like, it's about, like, customers and stuff. And I'm like, well, there's a difference. Customers never come in and they're right. All of my customers are coming in and they're trying to manipulate situations and they're trying to play victim and just playing sympathy card, like, oh, I paid this amount of money, things aren't going my way. And it's like, bro, there's rules. There's ways that things need to be done, and you have to respect that. You have to follow that. And I'm not going to bend, and I'm not going to break, and no matter how much you spun up your feet, like, I get it. You spent money, and we're helping you. But, like, I'm sorry. We have to schedule a technician to come to your house to fool with your product. You have to do this, you have to do that, and, it is what it is. Whereas when it comes to social issues, these people are victims. They don't get a lot of help. And I think we live in a society that is so tech forward, with so much opportunity, with so much resources, that having people genuinely not taken care of is ridiculous and unsatisfactory for a civilized society, I would say. At least that's my opinion. Maybe that makes me a lib. I just care about my fellow man. I also, look, I'm going to say something controversial. But if you can sit there and genuinely say that, I'm really, like, hesitant to say this because I know a lot of people have very strong opinions about their pets and their animals, that a dog has more value than a human life, someone who has thoughts and feelings, someone who has people that love them, who has impact on society, who has, children who have thoughts and feelings. It's just hard for me to get there, and it's like sometimes it feels like people are more willing to help animals than another human being suffering around them. And I think that's kind of sad. And that's not me saying don't love pets, don't love dogs. I love my cats to death, and I love my dog to death. But I hate to say it, and this is controversial because people are like, your pets are part of your family. I just, maybe I'm too logical, and I think about things too much when I make a decision. If it really was Luther's life, or another human being, I would have to choose the human being, and I would be torn up, and I would cry, and it would be awful. But I don't know. I feel like it's the right thing to do, and not enough people are willing to do them. It's like the train question. If your pets are on one side and XYZ people are on the other side, you have to choose the people, or you're kind of I don't know. You're kind of a villain because they're putting like arbitrary value on just some animals, right? Like cows don't get the same love as dogs, and lizards don't get the same love as cows, and fish might not get the same love as a lizard, and it's just like a sliding bar of what we care about and what we don't care about. But I feel like if we're just like really objective and really honest about this bar, humans should be at the top of everyone's bar. But I guess people are just so disenfranchised with society and life and other people, and I don't know. People say things without really thinking about them. It goes into like this, like, oh, I would never harm my pet. And there's this theory that like if you were starving, you would eat your pet, like realistically, because your brain chemistry changes, and it's easy to sit there and say I would never do such a thing. But your dog wouldn't hesitate to eat you in an apocalypse and you died and it was starving. And it's the same thing, right? Your dog does love you measurably on some level, and we love our pets, but at some point your body goes into self-preservation mode and you don't necessarily become yourself. I'm not saying you wouldn't be sad about it, but in almost all cases, you would do what is necessary to live. What are we talking about today? Let me get this set. We're done. We're gonna head to a shoulder raise and continue. All right. Next we got this deltoid raise, and we're gonna go ahead and get it on in. It must have been awesome. Well, okay. I wouldn't have ever probably wanted to live in the 80s, but man, living when like rock music was like the big thing must have been so dope. Just like going to like sold out venues. Not that, like, of course there are sold out venues still, but I mean like a band like Era, which is probably my favorite band, isn't selling out like a stadium, I guess is what I'm talking about, right? Like big places with big crowds and just like hella energy. I think it definitely would have been cool to experience that, I think. Anyway, that's my weird little, I'm listening to rock music, and sometimes I imagine, like, what if everybody listened to that kind of music? But would the version of me who kind of goes against the grain not enjoy that very much? Would I just instinctively have been a fan of some other genre? Or was my ears and brain predisposition to kind of like metal? That's an interesting thought, I suppose. I just ran into a post on the internet I want to talk about mid-set. It's on the Am I Overreacting subreddit, and the first text is, "I'm just your friend in Connecticut." This is a boy. The girl responds with a question mark. "You're my friend, and you are in Connecticut." He says, "Are you embarrassed to call me your boyfriend?" "No, I literally called you on top of a mountain. I think you're being insecure." I haven't felt many reasons to be secure in this recently. She, "Glad we can agree on something." "That was also what I expected," he says. "I'm not able to express any feelings about our communication or anything to do with this relationship without it being turned right back on me. My feelings are valid, too." She says, "Yes, they are. You're right." And he says, "And you're saying you wouldn't have any feelings about me talking about you as a friend instead of my girlfriend?" And she says, "I would not mind. Friend is a powerful word and connection to another human," with a heart emoji face. It's like the face with like the 3 hearts on it smiling. And he says, "To me, calling me your friend instead of your boyfriend at best means you don't want to claim me or are embarrassed to be with me. At worst, it means you want to appear as though you're single. Maybe you wouldn't think that way, but it's not something I'd prefer to hear." She responds, "I think you're blowing this way out of proportion. I'm tired of walking on eggshells around." And that's pretty much all we have. I have immediate knee-jerk response and feelings to that. Oh, people are so weird, huh? You know how the best case scenario, she doesn't want to claim him, the worst case wants to appear single? It's the worst case scenario, brother. She doesn't want to claim you. She doesn't want anyone to know you're anything other than a friend. And because you're saying Connecticut, it means there's some distance between the two of you. So she's definitely either in the presence of someone she wishes to court or is courting, or she's in the presence of someone who knows someone that she may or may not be also courting in this other mysterious place. That's kind of a shame. I don't really think there's a whole lot to diagnose, and she's immediately trying to turn it around on him, and she's just plain being dismissive about it. Yeah, like some of the people in the comments are like, "Yeah, I call my husband best friend, but it's always in addition to husband." And an example, "My husband is my best friend and soulmate." Calling someone your friend is not in any way the same level of a term to reference a significant other as boyfriend. So she's yikes. Let's get this last set and then we're gonna move to a new exercise. We're done. Let's go get some machine rear delt and also some chest flies, and we'll call it. Today has not been a yappy day. Maybe it's because I'm tired. Let's get it going. Let's raise the seat a little bit, actually. Oh man, I am a tired boy today. You know, kind of talking about the Dr. Disrespect thing. that happened the other day. I'm kind of secretly just waiting to see who's gonna be guilty next. I'm gonna like make a little like spinner, like a color-coded spinner with names of like popular, influential men in the gamer space, and I'm just gonna like flick it and see where it lands, and or perhaps we can start taking bets, like who's gonna be the next one caught doing some idiocy. Also, why is it, man? Why is it always men? And like I know that it's not exclusively men, right? There are of course women who get in trouble for grooming and doing inappropriate things with younger lads as well, but it's almost like the older people with children is disproportionately guys. What? Why? That's so embarrassing. It's like we're fighting these narratives of like, men can be safe and men can be trusted, and like I want to be able to walk behind people in the street and not have people worried. I mean, I would like to be able to, hey, your kid is so cute without people thinking I'm like a pedo. But we can't, because we have all these clowns, all these male clowns constantly doing weird fucking shit. Men of influence too. Let's get a sub. I think today's a pretty good example of what I've talked about a couple of times. I'm sitting here and I really don't feel like being here. I don't really feel like working out. But I'm still trying to push myself to failure. I'm not skipping any exercises, and I just made the decision that, regardless of how I feel in my day-to-day, regardless of how my mental is, that I'm going to do this. I'm going to record. I'm going to work out 6 days a week, and it's just part of my routine. It's like brushing my teeth. It's like feeding my pets. It's like going to work. And I think when we're trying to get ourselves out of depressive states sometimes, that you just have to hold yourself accountable, right? Not make excuses. It is so easy. It could have been so easy for me. Like, I'm taking a rest day, taking a mental day. But what does that do other than enable me to make an excuse next time and next time and next time and next time? And yeah, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's going to be really hard. But you just got to persevere. That's kind of a whiplash, talking from guys doing inappropriate things to mental state. But I'm listening to a sad song right now, and I'm kind of thinking about my current mental state and where I'm at. And while I am like really happy with life, and I'm just like trying to do all of the things that I love, attempting to make more money with work and improve my situation mentally, socially, all that kind of stuff. It's not always sunshines and roses. And I think it's easy to do the things that make you happy when you are just in a super good headspace. I think the real test is when you are, right? When it takes effort, when it's hard. That's really I think what determines what kind of person you are. And that's your inspirational talk for the afternoon. Let's get the final real adult set. Alright, and we'll transition this into some flies, and we will call it a day. So let's get this first set. I'm gonna post this, but I can rapidly feel my mood kind of declining. I'm starting to think about life. I'm starting to think about, it's my fault, I'm listening to sad music and I'm doing my thing where I like really kind of bask in it. And I'm thinking about life, I'm thinking about, I guess, just some of the mistakes I've made. How I haven't been necessarily the best person to the people around me at times. And it really is interesting how some people can never really care about the things they do to others. They can just like burn people. I've never like done anything like super egregious to anyone, but it's like little things, right? And sometimes I get in my head about and I think, and I always just want to be the best person I can to everyone. And it's probably partially like a trauma response because of, some of my history. And I really do want to just spread positivity, and I want to leave the best mark possible with all the people that my life touches. And, when that's kind of your mindset and that's kind of your goal, I think it's inevitable that you reflect a lot on your shortcomings, how you've let people down. And then kind of think about like what you would have done differently, perhaps. And I'm really not the kind of person that just forgets, unfortunately. I take my mistakes and I put them in a little bag, in a little invisible bag on a stick that's like on my shoulder, and I kind of carry them around forever, I think. I think that's what keeps me grounded. I think that's what keeps me very aware of how I interact with other people. Oh man, I'm such a goofy boy. I mean, because there's also things that I just can't control in my life, Some things happen. I think it's something important to say. Sometimes bad stuff happens to you, and there's nothing you could have done about it, and it is not your fault. And the best thing to do is just to try and move on from it. And that's easier said than done, depending on what's happened to you, but it is, I think, the best advice. And time and distance from the thing that has brought you sadness or unhappiness is ultimately the best thing you can do for yourself when it comes to pain. Let's get this final set in, and I'm going to film one for the gram, so after this one, I'll be hanging it up and seeing you in the car. Alright, man of my word, I will see you all in the car. And you know what? Staying true to myself, I flipped. I listened to the sad stuff, kind of really sat there in the emotions and really felt what I needed to feel, and now I'm feeling great. There's something I really think to it about just letting yourself feel things, letting yourself get past the emotion. And that's a big problem with men, right? Just holding it in, never really thinking about it, always just bottling it up, putting it in their bag, saying, I'll open this later, I'll peek at this later. But it's just not healthy, right? Even if it's like, I guess I'd say talk to someone, but even talking to yourself about it, working your own stuff through it. And I get some people don't have an internal monologue, and some people can't yap, I guess, like me, and talk about things and get like kind of see all the outside perspectives at the same time and kind of figure out where they really feel and where they sit on things. That might be I don't want to say unique, but a little superpower that I may have. But if there is one piece of advice, it would be just to just let yourself feel stuff sometimes. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be happy. It's okay to be mad in healthy ways and turn them into things that you want to do. And even when you're having those bad days, like I kind of talked about in the gym, go to the gym. Draw your picture. Even if it's just a little bit, even if it's just some portion of what you normally do, doing it is going to make you feel so much better than you not doing it. Coupling that with the fact that once you start making yourself excuses to not do things, you potentially will make yourself excuses to do even more cheating on your plan. And we don't want that, right? So I kind of have talked about, being proud of yourself and recognizing your achievements and looking yourself in the mirror and saying, hey, I did great today. And I guess to you guys, holding myself accountable, I'm going to look at the camera and say, hey, I did great today. I'm proud of myself for going to the gym. I made it through the day. We all made it to the weekend. And today was a little less lighthearted, a little less jovial, maybe a little less funny and yappy. And I guess it was just a serious day with like the politics and some stuff that's passed into law. But I do want to say before I let you go, just to end this on a high note, that I'm proud of all of you guys for making it to, I believe I'm posting this on Saturday, and I really do hope you all have a great weekend. So until next time on Monday, and maybe I'll find a good happy gym therapy topic. I'm going to see if I can I'm going to do some thinking and some conniving, and I'm going to see if I can find something real inspirational to post. Real upbeat, perhaps. Anyway, that's my commitment. If I don't find anything, I don't find anything. But today was our mental rest day, for better or worse, and I will see you again on Monday.